Shio Nagata Frank Dunn. Why he? D should go learn. D Guana show. Did I get it right? I'm still practicing. But I'm Frank Dunn, Wolftown community. I believe in the Cherokee language of revitalization. And but before I start, I want to thank Bunzi for putting this together, organizing it, and putting it together because this takes some work and it's time. So thank you, Bunzi. So who am I? I've been out knocking on doors, many doors, and I got bit by one of your dog. Where is she? Yeah, I went up to the screen door, popped open, a big dog came out, came around, came right up, and I was like, oh, here it comes. And then it just kind of looked at me like, really? And then it went across the street, and then the little poodle came around and bit my foot. And ouch. But we're all community, and we got to move on, and we got to forgive. So I gave her a ride down the other day. I won't say who, but when I knock on doors, it's who are you? Frank Dunn. Dunn? I don't have a name. My mom made me a walking stick. She married a non-Indian, and that's where the Dunn name comes from. But I have lineage from the walking sticks. The late John Ed was my uncle, and John Walking Stick, the bus driver, the Baptist preacher for many moons ago, was my grandfather. And Emily West, who passed last year, that's my aunt. And Dan Walking Stick up on the hill, the arts and crafts guy. And so those are, and then I met some new relatives out there. Jack Walking Stick up in Wrights Creek. And then I met, I always knew about Aaron Cucumber. But I got to spend Thanksgiving with Aaron and Patsy. And thank you for inviting me into your home. And But because his dad was Wayne Armachain, which was Emma Armachain's brother. And then went up Big Cove, or not Big Cove, but Big Y. And ran into Joy Smith and John Smith, my grandma's sister. So that makes like great aunt. So, but I left the reservation too. I was born off. And then I got on Greyhound and came back. In 1989, I ran away from home, jumped on a Greyhound and came back, and moved in, and my grandpa had Alzheimer's disease, or I was being bad and got kicked out. So, but I stayed with the late Ronnie Hornbuckle, with his grandma and grandpa over on the other side of the freeway there, and went to Swain. And so I had some lineage, and then I fell in love. Went to Southwestern Community College at Burger King there in Silva, and that's where the magic happened because I met my wife, Margie Dunn, who has been out on the campaign trail with me, knocking on doors. She knocks on the door first to make sure the dogs don't bite. So thank you. And and then we left. We raised a family. I have 2 biological boys that are enrolled with the tribe. And then we adopted 2 girls. So I know what it's like to be a parent and have to take in kids that are not yours. And so I have heard, knocking on doors, many of you are elders are taking care of your grandchildren. And I don't know why you go off the boundary and you get compensated, they get compensated, non-Indians, for taking care of the grandchildren. But here in Cherokee, we don't. And so my phone's going to blow up here. Watch this. They're going to say that's not true. But you know it is true. And so we need somebody at the Horseshoe that's going to work for you and make some change happen. So it is great, though, today to be Cherokee. Is it not? We have so much that our grandfathers did not have before. So we have more opportunity than our parents, than our grandparents, and we are thankful. We are a different tribe today. We need leaders who are going to serve all of us. Bo has done an excellent job. Everywhere I go, knocking on the doors, Bo has done an excellent job. And so so I only heard one person that said you did. I won't say who. I'll meet you out back later. And so 99.9% of Wolftown Big Y think highly of Bo. So I want to work with Bo on all issues and support Bo. And we will stand together and vote together because we serve you. I have had the honor of knocking on your doors, invited into your homes. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I have listened to you. We live, work, play, pray, grieve, face rejection together as a community. But I want us to dream together and make our dreams realities for our children and grandchildren of tomorrow. We know we have a drug epidemic in this community because we have loved ones that have fallen. We know the drug houses because we live here. We have sovereignty and the ability to make our own laws. However, we have to record, document, and enforce these laws for everyone. No exceptions. Doesn't matter who your family is or best friends with someone, we need to eradicate nepotism and get rid of the good old boys club. Cherokee is facing a new era. We are a $1 billion operation. We are owners of this tribe. We are each stockholders, 1/16,000. And so we need real accountability. Your next council member needs to have a business sense, a business background, balance their own checkbook before they can balance $1 billion check over in the horseshoe. We will all get up here and sound good, but I challenge us to look at who is qualified and has the experience to lead us into the new era of making our dreams come true. I hear you loud and clear, our health care is a problem. I have dreamed. Imagine a paradigm shift, a change. Imagine when people are hurt, they are flying them into Cherokee. We have the best hospital in North Carolina. Imagine that. The best hospital in North Carolina is right here in Cherokee. And Big Mama doesn't fly people out, they fly people into Cherokee. We can do it if we want. We have the resources. We know what good management and leadership looks like. You know, because we certainly know what bad is, because we have been putting up with it too long. How is it that we can call EBCI employee that is paid by our dollars and you get a cell phone that says the message is full and you can't even leave a message? The mailbox is full, sorry. That tells me they don't have the education or know how to check messages, or they're not working, or how about all the above. Change is coming. It is all around us. Why do our neighbors, Silva and Bryson, have things we do not? We should be the leader. We certainly have a bigger government budget. Let's start acting like it. Let's start leading the way. The way we are going to get there is by getting her done.
Get it done.
There you go. This is how we are going to get her done. Get her done to me is my value system. G stands for God. I stands for integrity. T stands for transparency. R, reliability. D, diversify. And diversify doesn't mean diversifying in casinos in Indiana and Kentucky when we have 2 right here. U, understanding. N, native. And the last N is needs. Native needs. What does this spell?
Wreck the country, get it done.
You got it. Okay. I will listen to you and not be a one-hit wonder, but return to your door. I will use technology to clear my messages. Furthermore, I will answer your phone calls and provide you with real transparency and keep us connected as a community so that all of our voices are heard. I will serve you, boss. I will work for you, and what will keep me working for you is remembering this night when I stood before you, because if I'm not, then there are people right here that will replace me very easily, because Wolftown votes And you can look at history. Your vote counts and it matters. And so I need your vote on December 15th so that our dreams can be a reality for our children and our grandchildren of tomorrow. I will get her done. Go to getHerDone.com to learn more about Frank Dunn. Thank you.
First candidate for Big Y in Wolftown special election is Mr. Teddy Bird.
I want to welcome everybody here tonight. See everybody. I know that Wolftown Big Y is so big. There's a lot of people out there. Appreciate each and every one of you. Let me give you a little introduction here. I'll give you a few of my goals, and I'll give you a closing statement. My name is Theodore Michael Bird Petty. I am the son of William E. Bird Bill and Marion C. Bird, and I reside in the Wolftown community for 27 years. I obtained a degree in information technology from Southwestern Community College and held several North Carolina DOT certifications. Professionally, I have had the opportunity to serve the people of our tribe in various capacities for 27 years, from quality housing inspector, civil engineer inspector, and with the Cherokee Department of Transportation and Information Technology Computer Specialist. I believe that I'm the best candidate for Wolftown community based on the experience I've obtained working with our tribal government. Major areas of concern that I would like to address if elected as follows: housing, health care, abuse, substance, rehab, tribal services, and having more transparent and accountable government. I believe that if we come together as a community, we can change anything, and I ask that each Wolftown vote support me for a fresh start and new direction. I humbly ask for your support in this upcoming election.
So I think that's a pretty cool accomplishment, and anytime that I get a chance to show somebody or teach somebody how to carve, I'm willing to do it, and I love it. I got a lot of experience in legislating. I wrote numerous pieces of legislation that, if you hear about the GWE program, the General Welfare Exclusion Program, that's got the ball rolling as far as taking away the taxes that come out of per capita. And so that's going to put more money in, our pockets from that distribution side. Some other things that I still want to advocate for is progressive leadership. And what that entails is, not being complacent, and that there's forward movement. There are a lot of projects that occurred, that were approved, that really built up our revenue sources. And there was some heartache on it. There was also, I guess some fear of where it might take us. But those decisions were made at the point in time after COVID came, and we had no clue what was going to occur. And at one point in time, tribe had to send some Federal Reserve monies over to the casino just so they could pay their employees while they were closed on quarantine. And so I'm just trying to set the stage as to why there were certain investments that had to be thought through and then, I guess, approved and moved forward on. And I've got a report here. I don't know who all was here, but I've heard that was it Adele Madden and Scott Barber came out and delivered this report to the community. This is a really good report on the Easy Sky Holdings LLC, and what it speaks to is how far things have come as far as investments go. And the first year, they have seen phenomenal, not overages, but increase. I can't even see how, buddy. Oh. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep the time. But anyhow, I do want to talk about, like, a lot of the projects right now are set in stage. If you think about it, it's like setting the foundation. You want a good, strong foundation before you jump into the next level of whether it's community development or community engagement and so forth. So that foundation is set now. It's not going to have to depend on our two cash cows down, the street here and down at Murphy as well. So there's a lot of good things happening. For those that want to copy this report, I'd be happy to give it to you. Okay. And if you need me to go over it, and I'm up for that. But so progressive leadership is what I'm about. It's not about just frivolously spending money. If anybody watched council and the legislations that I did put in, I put in pieces of accountability. And one big thing that's being talked about a lot around the horseshoe with some members is vetting processes. So that when things are come to a discussion, tribal council's already prepared. They know the balance of certain things. They know where funding sources are coming from. And to me, that's what has been missing for a long time. And it also will help transparency as well. So there's a lot of legislation that I want to follow up on that I put in that the ball's been rolling on. And two, the comprehensive plan report. That's been long overdue. And what that'll do is give the community an update on all special projects, capital purchases, so that you guys are aware of what's happening, what's going on, whether it's here, Murphy, wherever. But anyway, that's just a general overview of it. Huh? I've got 5 minutes. I'll try. But, all right, so back to that report. Anyway, I've got that report that I want to follow up on. Because not only does that talk about big projects, but it also talks about community engagement projects as well. So currently I work as the behavioral health data analyst for Anna Nalishi, and I think we all share the same concerns with substance use disorder. It is its own epidemic and its own beast. The other thing too with that is there's a lot of opportunities for treatment, but what I found out today in a conversation as to why housing is not moving forward with transition housing or just housing for recovering addicts, period, is that the data has not been set forth or not been put forth to back it up. So regardless of how much we think we see something out on the streets or get negative feedback or look at police arrest reports and so forth, that's not hitting the mark to push housing forward right now. So it just so happened I did have conversations with someone in leadership today that's a piece of data that I've actually started to work on, not for the housing aspect, but for other reasons, just to see the recidivism rates of those that come back and forth in and out of treatment. And so with that data there, we'll be able to see how much of a need that we have for traditional housing and other services that we need to combat substance use disorder. He's high functioning. He's very, very, very sharp. But there are programs that are, lacking after high school. Our special education program at Cherokee Central Schools is like unmatched. And anybody that works there that I've talked to says the same thing. They get great services. So that project's still underway. That was actually my first piece of legislation back in 2019. And so we worked with the Kensler Foundation to get pretty much a big study done on what we have here currently and what we don't have. So that'll be presented soon. And regardless if I get in this position, that's something I'm still going to continue to follow up with as I have other pieces of legislation. But, just say, I'm going to take Tammy's time. No, I'll shut up after this.
Thank you, Phil. Next candidate is Sam Reed.
Good evening. Glad to see everyone here. I'm Samuel Farrell Reed. I was born in Cherokee, raised in Wolftown by my grandparents. Live on Old Soso Road still. Served 8 years in the Marine Corps. Been in law enforcement 20 plus years. Small businessman for at least 15. Tribal magistrate now for 11 years. Father of 4. Some of my concerns are that we need to thoroughly research the money that is being spent elsewhere on certain pet projects that our chiefs and some council members are doing. It's going to come a time real soon, we're going to have some big votes coming up in tribal council concerning per capita distribution. There's also going to be some big votes on banishment. A lot of people don't think of that, but there's a lot of people who, families are dealing with the drug issue. One family in Birdtown is already dealing with this issue. They're not happy. Of course they're not, but the law is the law. So that's going to come up again concerning the banishment issue. So it's all going to go depending on how tribal council decides they want to vote, banish the drug dealers. And that's where you, the people, are going to come forward with a strong tribal council member. Are you going to stand up, or are you going to back down? What we call in law enforcement, are you going to crawfish? Are you going to back away from your responsibility? Another thing that's really big to me is streamlining the housing. We have people waiting 3 to 4 years to set a mobile home or even a modular home on their own property. But all you hear is you need to go see this person, that person, this other person. I went through this with a friend of mine. We have got to run around. And I have found out the people you need to go see. A lot of times your paperwork is laying on their desk. Why? There's not that many houses being built. There's not many mobile homes being put on these places. Why isn't your council member out here pushing for these people to get to work? That's accountability. This could be putting folks in homes. But that's what we're faced with. People are paying on mobile homes, stick-built homes, and they're not being able to move in 2 to 3 years. That's a lot of money you're paying on something that you're not living in. Another big thing is food, a grocery store. All I ever hear is, well, we got this contract with Food Line that there can be a no-compete clause. Well, my feeling is, I've always been a doer, somebody who gets things done. There's ways to get around calling it a grocery store. And they'll tell you here, council, we can do what we want to, because we are the law. I see it and hear it all the time. I deal with these people on a regular basis. Why can't the tribe make it a nutrition place to have fresh meat, fresh vegetables for our people? The stuff you get from Band of Food Bank is donated at least 3 to 4 days old. I know. I was a truck driver. I hauled that stuff into them before. That's just all leftovers that they bring here. So that's one of the biggest things is, another thing is I see the small kids in elementary school, middle school, high school. Some of them come to school to have something to eat. They cut that little backpack program out, but that was one of the big things dealing with some of the families that I deal with in my job. Is some of these little kids are hungry on weekends. They don't get to eat like a lot of people. Everybody was laughing at Rob Smoot when he threw out ramen to some of these kids during the parade. But you know what? I dealt with one of those families, and that kid was glad that they got thrown that because they had something to eat that weekend.
Right.
And I'm for nutrition. In this tribe, what I would like to see, instead of spending millions of dollars here and there, why can't we build our own cafeteria? Why can't we feed our people at a reduced rate? Sure, tribal workers, you see them. We all talk about diabetes, we all talk about health problems. But there's nowhere here to get decent food. You go to McDonald's, Burger King, I mean, you'll sit out there 20 minutes, pay $10 for a biscuit or something. That's not nutritious. Why can't this tribe do that? Okay, if they're taking all this food and stuff from a man of food bank, why can't we have us a food kitchen, a cafeteria, where if you're a tribal member, you come in, pay $2 or $3 if you have it to eat. Or if you don't, you still eat. This tribe's spending money like crazy on pet projects. We need to do something other. And that comes from having somebody with a vision, looking forward, taking care of the people. All I hear is everybody says, we gotta look after the elders, look after the kids. I see people in hard times. It's not happening. I see elder abuse happening constantly. Nobody cares. Oh yeah, we'll speak it, we'll talk about it. But when you talk to your council member, yeah, we're working on it. Well, I'm not that way. I've got to go do it. We'll get something done. Just a few things to tell you people. Years ago, I was a little traffic sergeant. I wrote a grant, the Governor's Highway Safety Program. At that time, they were only funding 10 police departments across North Carolina back in 1995. I wrote a grant. This tribe was one of the 10. For that year, we received $150,000 for officer training, vehicles, and whatnot for law enforcement. Because we have such a high DWI rate and traffic crash rate fatalities. A couple more years went by. Okay, the casino was coming. What are we going to do? We don't know what crime's going to be like. I said, well, you know, I was in the Marines, I had special tactical training. Well, why don't we set up a SWAT team to just be prepared? Well, everybody thought that was crazy. Well, you can't do that. You can't get that started. Yeah, I did. I went to the casino. They donated me $25,000 to get a SWAT team started. That's how this SWAT team started here. By doing, somebody getting out there, taking a chance, going to talk to people, getting things done. Another part that I'm in is the Brothers in the Wind Motorcycle Club. We do a lot of good. The club does a lot of good. It's not election time to go out here and do this or do that. We do good all year round. We do the toy run for the kids. We do turkey shoots for people who need assistance, who need food. We try to use our going out there into the public, being delegates for this tribe, to show we're still here and that we still care. We take care of veterans. This group took it upon themselves. A veteran who passed away a year or two ago, he had no heat, dead of winter. We didn't go around and tell what all we do for people. We just go and do it because that's what we do. We've got to look after each other. And I hear everyone say, we got to look 7 generations ahead. I see the roll. I see the blood quantum dropping. 7 generations. Who's going to be here? Very few who will ever meet the blood quantum will be here. Very few. Another thing. Okay, the per capita stuff. Okay, you hear people talk about the LLCs, this one and that one. We bought this casino, we're buying this and that. Okay, that's one aspect. They don't have to tell you how much they actually make. They can give you any figures they want to. Just the other day, I heard one council member say, well, Sam, we got 35 million off this thing. Then the chief turns around and says, oh, we got 50 million. Well, who's right? $15 million discrepancy, but we can't see the books because it is an EBCI Holdings Corporation. When the damn old casino comes up, what are we going to do? That's going to be one of the things that tribal council will have to decide. Are we going to let every member here get per capita off of that, because that is Eastern Band money. So, you're going to have a council member within these next few months get in there and vote for you people, not for the ones who have friends and all that. It's time for you people to have somebody strong. Thank you.
Next candidate is Andrew Dunn.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is a very important vote. We have a special election. It's a special election for a reason, because we need to have somebody in that seat to help our other council members to carry the weight of the entire vote of the community. So, first of all, my name is Andrew Wilson Ukama. I was born here in Cherokee and raised up here in Wolftown. My mother is Mary Ukama. My grandparents is Andy Ukama, Andy Welch Ukama, and Susie Reed Ukama, and raised right up here, right up the creek here. So, very familiar with this area. And a lot of you guys know that I moved away for a little bit. I lived in Ohio for 20 years, which is very fortunate actually, and a lot of people are born and raised here and stayed here, you know, been here all your life. There's a lot of value to move away and get a perspective of the way things are that aren't right here in Cherokee. I know there's, you know, some discrepancies in how people live and how we spend our money and that kind of thing, but we want to make sure that we're competitive in a lot of the things that we do, just like all the other areas that are surrounding us. Look at, you know, Waynesville, Bryson City, Silva, Dillsboro, and you know, Cherokee has a lot of potential, and we could be right with those municipalities and cities and towns and compete with them on any level. Not just sports, but just really economically. And I think that the casino does a really good job in providing a lot for all the families here in Cherokee, but we also have to look at diversifying our streams of income for the tribe. And one of the things I can talk to you a little bit later on about is my experience in doing that. Currently, I work at Harris Cherokee Casino. I'm the regional advertising manager. Been doing that for a little over a year now. Some of the things that I do there is I manage a team that all the advertising that's out there, whether it's in print, online, social media, TV, anything that's out there goes through my team. And part of that responsibility is being really particular on what we do with our money. You know, one of the things that I'm responsible for doing is growing our gross gaming revenue, which translates into how big our per cap checks are. So my priority right off the bat, and just the job that I do, is making sure that we generate the money that really funds a lot of stuff that goes on in this tribe. And another part of what I do is I manage our major sports portfolio. I work with Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, the pro soccer team, and several collegiate sporting teams around here in the area. And part of that responsibility is making sure that we get the best deal for the casino and for the tribe. Making sure those contracts are not one-sided, meaning that we make sure we get our money and some back from it. There's a margin I'm held to a standard with, but that's just some of the things I'm currently doing to contribute to the tribe, I guess, and per cap and everything that we do. I'm a graduate of Western Carolina University. Went there on a football scholarship. Played up here at Smoky Mountain High School. And what that afforded me was to earn a marketing degree, and also get into other things based on that education, to go into different businesses and industries and things like that to develop professionally. And some of the things I was able to do while I was in Ohio was I was a banker for a major Midwestern bank. I don't know if anybody's heard of Fifth Third Bank. Anybody? Fifth Third Bank? There's a few of you out there, but banking is really competitive, and some of the things that we're measured on is our revenue for our stores or retail department. And we did all kinds of loan campaigns, credit card campaigns, but primarily we dealt with other people's money, and we had to be very, very professional and share the information with us individuals so they can make smart decisions, whether it's taking out a loan, how they're going to pay the loan, or how they're going to invest their money, that kind of thing. But what also afforded me was to be able to look at big money deals. I dealt a lot with commercial lending, which we see businesses like the Wells Fargo handles a lot of the tribe's funding and a lot of the tribe's liens and loans. And some of the things that we make sure that we have to do is look at financial statements, cash flow, and all that good stuff, which luckily I can bring to the table in this position. There we have multi-million-dollar deals that are, either in Southern Indiana, Virginia, maybe in South Carolina the next time, or wherever. I've had eyeballs on deals that were big like that, and I've had to make decisions on whether to do them or not, or advise people whether they should be done or not. And sometimes, you get folks that are in there. We know what everybody has done, their work history, their past. Do we want to make sure that those are the only eyes that see those things, and be able to give the right advice on moving forward with something? Or say, hey, let's pump the brakes on this and take a closer look at it, versus just say, hey, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. We got this report from, I don't know, Scott Barber or Adele Jacobs, and say, let's do it because they say do it. When you really don't have enough eyeballs seeing those deals to make sure that we're making the right decision for the tribe. I've also worked in economic development and workforce development. I've helped hundreds of people get jobs after they've lost their employment due to no fault of their own. Maybe they got laid off, maybe a business shut down, and we help get those folks some transferable skills to be able to get re-employed. And I've worked with folks that were ex-felons. How many folks in here know an ex-felon that needs work right now, or would like to find work? Or if we don't, then most of us have known somebody like that. It's hard, really hard for folks like that to get re-employment. There's a lot of programming out there that people don't know about to get people back into employment. Economic development. We brought, worked with teams where we can bring in major manufacturing companies into Central Ohio to get people employed. How many of you guys have heard Road Fitness? Road Fitness? John has. So these guys came to Columbus, Ohio. They were looking to go to Indiana. So we did a lot of research and got those guys into Columbus. And right now they're one of the largest weightlifting equipment manufacturing companies in the United States right now. Big, high profile. So that's just give you a little bit of experience that I've had. Some of the things I like to address about some of my priorities. I have a lot of them. I've sat and talked with a lot of families that are in here tonight, and got a plethora of concerns. One of them I talked about already, about the investments off the reservation, and some of those are good. Some of them could have been scrutinized a little more. But it takes a team and some collaboration to make sure that those decisions are made, without haste. We got to make sure we are going to be the winners in the deal. We can't just assume that we're going to do everything's going to be golden. Right now, the economy is uncertain. I mean, how many of you guys hear on the news or whatever outlet you hear? I'm not going to ask what anybody listens to, but everybody's saying, hey, what, the economy is uncertain. Well, we have one casino here that's generating most of the income here. We don't have the tourism like we used to. So it's going to be a priority of mine to look at those opportunities for the tribe in a in a responsible way, meaning as a collaborative team with the rest of the council, input from the community. I think that one of the things that we can do is be more informative to you folks, so you guys can give us feedback on how we should vote. And like I committed already before, is whoever's in that seat next to me, we're going to do it as a team. If it's Bo's going to be there at least 9 months. I'm going to make sure that he and I talk. We're going to meet on a regular basis and make sure we don't waste our weighted votes on something that maybe he feels strongly about, maybe I don't. But we need to get on the same page. And so, if elected the second time, hint, hint, I would do that with whoever. Maybe it's somebody behind me right now that I'll have to partner with, and we'll make sure that we have our votes go the same direction, so we don't cancel each other out and we don't vote against each other. It's very important for this community. Some of the other priorities, I don't run out of time here. I was going to mention real quick, healthcare. We got a lot of folks that have a lot of ailments out there. Some of them are life-threatening, and we have millions of dollars in one of these health programs. But we need to see better measurements. We need to have what I call key performance indicators. Are the numbers of people with diabetes going down, or are they getting worse? If it's not, then where are all these millions of dollars going to? There's accountability in all the dollars that go out. And I think that one of the things that we all want to know is, where's the results? Is it good or bad? Let's make a better decision on if it's bad, and then keep on doing what we're doing if it's doing good. Also, holding non-enrolled contractors that come onto the reservation, that do roofs, that do roads, that do whatever it is, let's hold them accountable. We can't run out. It's easy for people to come in and take advantage of our money and not be held accountable. Also, with the police, real quick, I got 5 seconds. There's the police department. We want to make sure that non-enrolled members, this is very important to me, non-enrolled members, if they violate us here on the reservation, break the law, they need to be held accountable in tribal court, or at least in county court. We can't just let them come on here, speed up and down the road, commit a crime against a family member, and get away with it. We need to be able to hold folks accountable here in Cherokee. Thank you very much.
Our next candidate is Mike Parker.
Hello everybody, my name is Mike Parker. I don't speak very loudly, so. I've grown up here, I lived here most of my life. Jonah Washington was my grandfather. Carol Parker was my father, he passed away recently. I'm 57 years old. I know about most everybody in here. And I guess before I dive into the spiel here, I just want to say, looking around here, there's a lot of good people. And it makes me feel good to know that, we have some choices, that we'll be able to select from. But I'm fortunate enough to be the next council member. I would like to see a better strategic vision for our spending. Currently, I know that, let me back up a little bit. I started out working when I was in college. I worked part-time with the Minority Business Development Center in Asheville. I would go over there part-time, help people write business plans, that kind of thing. Do a lot of the similar things Andrew was talking about with job, helping get their job and stuff back on track, things like that. And from there, I moved to the payroll office with the tribe. After I graduated, I got a degree in economics from Western Carolina. A long time ago, back in 1989. Currently, I'm working on my master's degree, and I'll be finished with that this Saturday, as a matter of fact. And that master's degree will be in project management. So I encourage students that come to see. I'm currently working with the destination marketing department with the tribe, and the students that come in every year, I'm encouraging them to study their Excel spreadsheets and their Word programming, because it's so critical and vital, I think, for our young people as they move forward, to be able to navigate through business and school. So I encourage a lot of that. I have 2 kids, Shelby and Peyton. Shelby's out young, so they're with the grandbaby, one of them. And so I know a lot of the same. I've gone through a lot of the same pains and experiences that a lot of you have. Of course, I'm very familiar with a lot of the social issues and the frustrations, getting housing and things like that. Gosh, I've known Bo a long time. If I'm elected, I'm to work with Bo to try to come to a resolve any issues that we have that impact Wolftown and Big Y. If there's times when I can't vote with Bo, I would certainly let him know and everybody know, and tell you the reasons why, that kind of thing, as we move forward, and give the community the opportunity to tell me, well, we don't care. We need you to support this because we feel like it's a better move for the community. I currently work in the destination marketing office, and with that, I've had the opportunity to be at the front end of addressing things like, SoCo pull-off up there where the falls are. It was very, very packed this weekend, so it becomes a very dangerous kind of situation there in the curve. And I can let you know we've been working on a project, a strategy to alleviate that. The plan is to, where that big turnout is at the top, is to transition that into an event kind of area, a place for people can park, and then build a trail down to the falls from up there. And then we can shut off those little areas down there that are so dangerous next to the road. So the project build out for that is supposed to begin, I think, this spring. So May, late June, somewhere in there. So what else? Let's see. I'm very familiar with the gaming industry. I was the hotel director for our casino in Murphy. I did that for about 5 years. And so I'm very familiar with key performance indicators and, the impact that has on our per capita. A big thank you to everybody that works for the casinos or has worked for the casinos, because it's a sort of thankless job, and you have to be there. It's a demanding thing. And I left there to about 5 years ago to take care of my dad. And gosh, as we move forward, I think there's a lot of challenges ahead of us. I know there's all these gaming opportunities, and I think as someone said before, there's a lot of LLCs out there that where they can do an LLC, the holdings company. So I agree, better accountability needs to be had with those companies as we move forward. And having worked from the inside now, from the legislative side, I was a council member from 2001 to 2011, and from the tribal side now, new to gaming, I feel like I have a lot of experience, and I understand a lot of the issues that we face, and I've actually been to DC and been to the hearings and that type of thing, so I'm very familiar with those processes and the methodologies that are required to make a presence at a national level. And I think we need to support those who support us, as we move forward on the national level and at the state level as well. So it takes a lot of time and commitment to be able to do that. Like I said, I'm 57 years old. Kids are grown. If I do get elected, that's the plan, is to stay here 10% into Wolftown and Big Y. That's what we can do to move into the future. Thank you.
Next, we have Amy Andrews.
Chairman Dunn, my name is Amy Sequoia Anders. I'm a wife and mother of 5. I graduated Cherokee High School back in 1995. My first 3 oldest children also graduated from Cherokee High School. My husband is a strength and conditioning teacher at Cherokee High School. And as an elected official, I aim to support and extend cultural, education, and also workforce opportunities for our students. For the past 11 years, I've owned and operated my own business in Bryson City. I studied business with the University of Phoenix, took online classes, so I understand a lot of the struggles that many of you all face when trying to work or attend class from home. I raised my family in a quality housing home 20-some years ago. It took probably 4 years plus to get into our home. Today, it still takes that long or longer for a lot of families. My family has also experienced the devastating effects of drug addiction and domestic violence. So I know firsthand that the laws that we've adopted from the state are not enough to protect our women and children, nor are they enough to stop repeated crimes in our community. It's time to invest in a more secure and less burdensome environment for our people. It's time to invest in safe, healthy activities for our youth, families, and elders. It's my hope that our people have quick, affordable, and exceptional services. So I've talked to a lot of people, and I know that there's a lot of concerns and issues out there, from us needing a homeless shelter, a soup kitchen, internet. People are concerned about private spending. I think that it's wise to focus on a couple of big pressing issues, and what I'm hearing the most in the community is housing issues and just stuff to do in the community. A little bit more about me. I've done a lot of volunteer work inside and outside the community. We've offered health classes for recovering addicts. I used to participate in a program called Young Life, where we went to the high school. It's similar to Fellowship of Christian Athletes, but Young Life is for everyone. We've also done fundraisers to help kids with health issues. We've done shoe drives. We have also, for the past 2 years, we've helped Swain County Sheriff's Department provide Christmas gifts for children of inmates. And most recently, I have helped develop the Indigenous Book Club, which is, we're just trying to encourage more kids in our community to read. It's for boys and girls. So I just want to remind you that this December, you all have an opportunity to elect an official that understands your struggles and that will speak up on your behalf. I'm really concerned about our community, and I would like the opportunity to work for you. It's time to vote for change. So I would appreciate your vote this December.
The last candidate tonight is J.C.
Before I get started, I just want to say thank you to the volunteers that made tonight possible. Our officers, Jesse Smith, Ginger Southern, and Lynn Cat, and Bungie for coming down and chairing this for us. But I really appreciate what y'all have done tonight. So my name is Jesse, and I'm running for Wolftown Big Tribal Council, and none of us knew we were going to be here a few months ago tonight, having a special election. It's just a challenge that we're having to face in the community. And our community has faced challenges before. Historically, we had to fight for survival. A few years back, we had to fight for basic needs and services. And before the casino come along, we had to challenge just getting our tribal employees paid every week. And fast forward to present day, and we face our new set of challenges. We have a government that's spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, far off away from home, and none of it's coming back to us in the form of per capita. We have a health care system that isn't serving our community, and we have a divided horseshoe council house that sometimes we see members from the same community voting against each other. Thankfully, we're coming together tonight to discuss these issues, and come December 15th, we have the opportunity to vote and start fixing them. So, our government assures us that we are leaders in Indian country. But if we look around our boundaries and we listen to the stories that, our families are having problems, it paints a different picture. I worry for our elders that are living on fixed income. I worry for our young people that are trying to move into a new home. And I worry for our working families that are trying to put food on the table for our children. And while we're worried about that, our government is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on investments far off from here, like that Indiana casino. It was projected that last year it would bring back $2 million to our people. It made the news when it brought back $4 million. The whole time we're on the hook as a people for that debt. Does that make good financial sense? I don't think it does. None of that came back to you in the form of per capita either. I promise you that any projects that our government enters into, I'm going to be lobbying for 50% cut, just like our Cherokee and Murphy casinos come back to our people in the form of per capita. Now understand that I'm not against investments, but I am against bad investments and bad deals that bring little to no benefit back to you. We face a healthcare crisis as well. Myself, as well as many friends across the boundary, have been trying to get health care, and you go down there and try to get an appointment, and your appointment's a month out. Now you can go to the ER, but you can't get the help there that you need, comprehensive care. So in between those times, you're in physical pain. None of us should be dealing with that. And one of our community leaders, Ms. Ginger Southern, has started a group to address this head on, and I want to thank her for her leadership for that. I promise you I'll do everything in my power to promote the physical well-being of our people. But finally, I'd like to address working with other council members in the executive branch. It starts here in the community. If you've got a problem, you can come to me. I'm not going to judge you. We'll work together to find a solution for it. And if elected, I work with Councilmember Bo Crow, just like the others have stated, to make sure that we're a united community in that horseshoe. And just as the years that I've served here as chairman, you're the boss. I answer to you, not to the rest of council, not to the chiefs. And if any of them threaten your prosperity, I will stand up against that. I have no doubt that all the candidates here have your best interest in mind. But something that you have to ask yourself when you go to that voting booth is, who's the most serious and reliable candidate? I've been working in this community for years. I've attended hundreds of meetings here, up at Big Y, and all across the boundary. We've discussed things like the Constitution, the drug epidemic, and the issue that's brought us here tonight. Domestic violence and alcohol use is an enduring problem that we need to address. And I promise you that I will, to the best of my ability, if elected. Now, Cherokee's had its highs and lows, but we can be so much more than what we are now. And I ask you, will you help me build a better tomorrow for our people? Again, my name is Jess Sneed. I'd like to thank the candidates for coming out tonight and showing the interest in leadership in our tribe. And I'd like to thank you all for coming out as well to hear us out. And with that, I humbly ask for your support in the upcoming December 15th election. Thank you all.
We've heard all the candidates, and that's what we asked tonight, is a platform from everyone from these 10 minutes. We won't be taking no questions tonight, because I don't think it'd be fair. All of them can't answer what some of the questions we have. Usually in our regular election, we've done that right after our primary, because it was narrowed down to 4 to give us more time. But at this point in time, I thank all the candidates, I thank Wolftown, and everybody that showed up tonight, coming out and supporting all these. These are your candidates. Everybody's got to make a decision on it. Good luck to everybody that's here. Moving forward, I ask them now, we're going to come out, and they're going to come out, and if you have any personal questions, if you want to ask some of them what they offer the platform, feel free to do it at that time and discuss stuff with everyone. Thank you for all coming out tonight. Make sure you get snacks. Thank you, all of you.